Hello and good morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on the time of day that you're watching this video/stream. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in for today's episode. Today we are doing the Lego City set number 60287, which is a little tractor. It's consisting of, let me just see, 148 parts, and we are doing it on stream first. So we do the whole build on stream, and afterwards, let's talk a little bit about it and what my thoughts will be. So I've already, as always, I've cut the box open already with a knife, and let's empty all the components out so we can see what Lego provides us with in this set. So this was all of the content of the box. Starting off with the printed instruction manual. Because it's a 5+ set, all the steps are usually just like done very, very slowly, and there's a lot of explanation to what you need with all of them. Also, the print is rather big and good to read. I'm still gonna use the online version of this, but just so you know, it's always still included. We have two different building steps in the box, as well as 3 loose parts. One of them is the shovel, which will be put up on the front of the build. Let's just put this over here. And also 2 of these bigger style of tires. Alright, so let's get into building. First, we need to empty our step 1. I'm gonna try to be delicate with putting it on the table so it's not too loud. And then we can already get going. Oops. We're just gonna ignore that for now. Alright. So, our build kicks off with the first minifigurine. In this case, it's, I guess, the daughter of the farmer. And we have a rather interesting style hairpiece included. Let me just show you really quick when I build it together. So we only have a one-sided print for the head. The leg piece is not only not printed, but it's also in a different color from the main print, which makes all of this look a little bit more weird in real life than it probably will look like on the camera, because my light settings are helping this detail to be excluded. And as you can see, we have a different version of hairstyle in the color, I guess, brown to orange, with 2 pigtails on the back. And I think that's what it's called. And also we have a little rabbit with a face print included, which I actually appreciate. I'm curious if you can tell. Yes, I think it should be visible. It has printed eyes and a nose as well as a mouth, which is nice to see. I know these sort of molds sometimes came without any sort of print, so you would only get the figurine itself. So it gives it a little bit more of a detailed vibe to it, I guess. Sorry for looking, or like sorry for struggling with finding the right words. Before we actually get into building the vehicle, there is a little bit of a selection of vegetables being put together, consisting, and also not only vegetables, but also apparently some fruits, or like one piece of it, which is this. How do I show you this the best? I guess by grabbing it on the trunk, and yeah, this should be visible. It's a little apple in the color red. Let's see how we can put these into here. Probably in the middle. Oh no, this does not have a stud connector to it. Okay, so we can just throw it in there. We are also getting a pumpkin, and let's just build up the second one. We are getting two of these carrots. I gotta say, for the carrots, the dimensions of the trunk, or how's this part called exactly? I'm not completely sure. Um, it's a little bit weird on and on the larger side, because as you can see, the carrot itself is like 50% of it now, and the other one is just the green stuff on top. But other than that, it's cute that they include all of this. Let's put all of it into the matching. How is this called? I guess you can just say box to it, and then we can set it aside. I will just give you one more quick glimpse of all the included extras, and I guess this is the color nougat colored box that they also included. All right. So after spending quite some time on accessories and details, now we are getting into the main part of the build, which will be the tractor itself. So up front, we just start placing a couple of plates upon each other, one for the backside where you can probably attach different accessories like well, I'm not completely sure how to call it in English, but like also what you can, what could you attach to this? Like for example, this is something to press hay to bigger amounts together, so you can use it for food production for animals, I guess, or stuff like that. I'm struggling with the proper English words for that, to be completely honest with you. So I'm just gonna move on with the actual build. All right. So we have one of these rather interesting. Let me show you. Grill pieces, which is not 2x1 but 2x2. Let's see if you can tell. There is like this grill structure, which also is known from these this brick, but these are one plate higher than the ones I just showed you. And also in the middle there is a Technic connector, which makes it rather interesting. I've not seen this part before. I also like the combination of different sorts of grill pieces. It could probably fit quite well. And so we are already including the axles, which are up here, up front, so the distance between the wheels will not be very large, which I guess is fitting for the mini scale size of this. And up front, there is sort of a Technic connector that the shovel will hook into, or will be mounted upon, I suppose. It will be secured with a plate. All of it is held in a rather nice color scheme. I very much appreciate the colors they used so far, besides the blue on the bottom, which absolutely does not fit. Most of it looks very nice. The black and gray always go together very well for these sort of builds. Well, now that we put this grill piece up on the side, it's actually being used for something else as just a side step. To basically, I guess, build up the side skirts later on. add some more grill pieces, and then I'm gonna show you in more detail what we already have. So up front, we have the mounting points for the shovel as mentioned, and then it just continues building it off to the side with these sort of connectors. To give it rigidity, because at the moment it's not the strongest, there are two, one by, how many are these? 2, 4, 6, 8. Wait, 2, 6, 8. No, it's a 10. 1 by 10 plates, two of them in red, which already start to bring out the color scheme of the tractor and also give it a lot more rigidity, as mentioned. On these sides here, now that we just build out the side skirts, there's more addition of these plates with the grill details on the sides, which are also 2 plates high instead of the regular 3 when you are placing bricks. And they are added on both sides of the build, so we are actually continuing our grill upwards a little bit better. I think that looks pretty nice. I appreciate the detailing. Alright, here in the back of it, there's another light bluish gray piece being placed. Before we continue with a little bit of blue into it, I guess this is just for structural purposes, even though I do not really appreciate this being blue, because this could just as well have been red and nobody would have had a problem. Even for the age tag of 5 plus, I think even at this age demographic, you could easily place a red brick on a gray surface area leading into a little bit of red instead. You could also mark it in a different color and it would just stay in the scheme easier. Because if you actually want to rebuild this, it's not as easy when you have a bunch of different style colors. Especially if it's blue and red, which is rather hard to mix into things. I guess if you have a bunch of red, at least it's easier to build a rooftop or something. But yeah, well, blue can be used for water, for example. So I'm not gonna say there is no usage for it. Just I always think of it in from the perspective of somebody only buying, for example, this set in particular, and then you're stranded with a bunch of different colors that basically only allow you to build certain sets, or like a certain build in itself. Like for example, these also do not come with a B model like some of the creator series do or did in the past. So it's also not even suggesting anything for rebuilding it, which already shows you how specific some of the parts probably are. All right, just to mention a little bit what we are doing. So I've put up some of these sideways studs, which are 2 bricks high. And up top there is a 2x2 tile in the color red. So underneath it's visible a little bit, but not too much. Well, probably just as much as the completely white piece up front, which also does not fit at all. I wish they would have just stayed with the color black in this, to be completely honest. Especially now that we're building up the design, even with plates which are these little rounded off tiles. Let me see how to show you that the best, I guess, like this. And these tile pieces are just put upon here on the front. And especially now, I think the color white does not fit at all into it. Up front, we have a grill piece, as well as one of these, how do you say it? Like little pole pieces where you can hook things into. All right. And up front, on this piece, as mentioned, there is a grill piece getting put on. and also a connector brick up top to give it more rigidity once again. Alrighty, so for the side we are continuing with putting on first of all 1x2 trans clear brick for the side. I'm not exactly sure what that's supposed to assemble, but it's trans clear bricks always are nice. I'm not complaining about stuff like that. And also one of these little leather pieces. The leather piece is a regular standard element I've seen in many of the city sets, so nothing mentionable here. Alright, more grill pieces put upon on the side. It's a little bit hard to see, but I'm just gonna try to angle it off till you can, maybe. I suppose, but I think the overall look should be delivered. And up on the upside of it, there's also a white 2x3 plate being placed for rigidity. Up front, we are now building some of the, I suppose, how is it called, the detailing above the engine block. There is no actual engine block included in this build, but it's just trying to simulate a little bit of the courage and form on front, which I guess is more appreciable than nothing included, or like just a completely blocky look. This is this well, how is this called, like angled upwards style of piece, I suppose, and we are putting two trans clear plates upon it before placing it here. You see there's a space left between here and here, which we can just close off with it. So the overall form is getting a little bit better with both of these rounded tiles, or like the rounded tiles and this sort of angle that this gives. We are continuing with some more technique elements up top and an actual red 2x4 slope piece. That's a nice addition, even though it's only one so far, as well as a red tile, which makes this the third red tile in the build. And now we have a lot of different curvatures being included in this, and the lights on the front come across quite nice, I guess. Alright, let's place some more Technic pins. And struts to actually link everything, and this gives it a lot of rigidity. So there is a, what is this? Is this called? I think it's a lift arm, is what Lego calls these elements. It's these four length, or like four holes length, and as you can see, because we have Technic pins up here and here, it would be a little bit unsturdy without putting anything in between, but because of the pins, we can just slide this in, and it gives a lot of rigidity and also properly rounds it off a little bit more. I mean, it's not perfect. I don't really like the look a lot at the moment, but well, we will see. Maybe there is actually more addition to it. First, we are adding the other side with the ladders to get into it. And yeah, that's that's the last grill piece. I suppose that it comes in here, yes. Alright, and I've already put up the other side without even realizing that the instruction manual is waiting a little bit more with it. But we can still put in the axle pins. So far the only spare piece or spare part is this green little flower piece that was in here because of all the vegetables which are included in this set, and this is how the first step down looks like. We have finished the bottom side of the tractor, and also the front piece will probably also not get too much attention anymore. Alright, so we are already on step 2, which will be the concluding one. Alright, so emptying the last bag for today's build. And let's start with the minifigurine and the accessories again. Also, the regular sized minifigurine does not come with any printed leg piece, and the top side, which is supposed to be the same color, is not the same color. Now you can finally see this properly in the camera as well, like the green, or the hue of the green up top is just completely different than on the bottom side, which is rather sad to see. But for this, we actually are getting a switchable headpiece with 2 prints. So the front side is the happy face, and the back side is the less happy face, I suppose. And it has this interesting style hairpiece, which on the instruction manual kind of looks like a mullet. Let's see how it's looking like in person. If we actually have it included in the bill. Did I throw it on the ground? Let me just check really quick. Well, actually, no, I didn't even throw it on the ground. So, maybe it will come up. Here it is. That's always something very typical. Happens to me quite a lot. Just like somewhere underneath of everything, and then I just started looking for it for about 10 minutes before I realized I should just check the table a little bit more precisely. Alright, so this is how we're looking like. Let's put it aside. And we also have 2 of these haystacks, I suppose, which are built out of the same grill piece style blocks that I mentioned earlier, with the Technic connector in the middle and the grill piece on the side. This time it's in beige instead of the black that we had before. Alright, and in the finished version, 2 of these are getting stacked over each other, and then there's a tile being put upon it. I actually think this looks quite good. That's okay for a little addition. I think it's totally okay. Do you need like 20 of these to actually make it work? Yeah, probably. But well, your collection gets started with it, I guess. I don't know. Alright, let's focus on our main build again, which we are putting up a little bit more on the back of the build by now. Also one of these half brick heights in terms of the grill pieces, this time in black again. And then we are putting up the rear lights, which are started off in the middle. We are putting a black iron bar, and then on the sides, the lights themselves are done with cheese slopes, which are held in both red and orange, and form quite a nice look, I think. I don't mind these. I definitely think it looks kind of cute and has nice detailing to it. The slopes, by the way, are in trans clear colors, which you can see with the hue being a little bit visible through. It's looking interesting when put on a build at the moment, but I guess this will look better when we are continuing to add more pieces. At the moment, it's just a floating brake lines. But we are already securing it with such a step piece in blue. So we have even more blue in the middle of it. I don't know, maybe they just wanted to put the interior into blue color, but it just does not make any sense. I suppose more we had some of these left over in the factory and they just wanted to get rid of some. That's usually how this goes. Alright, also we are adding more height to it here with this sloped up style of piece. And the steering wheel gets implemented. At least it's also blue, so everything in the inside is blue. Maybe they just wanted to add a blue interior to the tractor. As you can see, this is very at the moment. Now probably the backside will be built up more. Exactly. First, we have one of two trans clear blocky style windows, which are rounded off in the corners. I think this is an actually really cool part, which can be used for quite a lot of things, even vending machines, I suppose. And it's being placed up front here to basically put the steering wheel behind the glass already. Okay. So now we are adding more trans clear 1x2 plates. As I already mentioned, there's a few in the set. Always a nice addition. And also two sloped pieces in 1x3. Making everything look like this. I guess the color switch from red to blue for the inside does kind of give it a little bit of separation from the two colors to actually create a better contrast. Let's see how it looks like when it's finished before judging about it, I guess. Also, we have these angled bricks with which are getting finished off with a jumper plate up top, also in the same color red. And then we're just putting them to the side here. As you can see, we are creating a more angled off look to it by now. And if you look at it from the right angle, it probably will not look bad. Just a lot of open parts still. Alright. On step 44, we are adding a tile up front, up on the top, to probably add more pieces. Now, yes, exactly. Before then, there is one sloped trans clear piece which will be put up in the back actually, and up front there's another one of these mentioned trans clear rounded corner pieces which have a straight front line to it. All right, we are adding this to the first one that we already placed, and it creates this look at the moment. All right. So what is definitely still missing are the lights up on the top of it. So we are adding them now, consisting of this angled off piece. And on each of the outside, we are putting these little, how's it called? Trans clear 1x1 tiles, which are rounded. They're rounded tiles. And in the middle, there's a black iron bar being placed. All right, and then we are putting them onto the windscreen. Two connector pieces for the outside, which will host the mirrors very likely. And now we are looking like this. Then we also are adding the rooftop already, which is getting put into the back. And there's two jumper plates completing the red look up top. Let's show you how it looks. So we have this angled off look into the back, and then the rooftop is colored in red again. The sideway mirrors are also including the black iron bars mentioned earlier too. So you're getting, I think, 4 or 5 of these in this set. Always very useful parts. And also this connector style 2x1 plate, which now is just getting hooked onto the side. And then just put down, because this can be angled in a certain way. Let's do this for the second side. And we are already done. So we have both of the mirror pieces attached. Let's see what's coming up next. So there is these little trans clear orange torpedo pieces, or torpedo heads, which were used, for example, on the UCS gunship to create the rockets underneath the wings. And it has this little stud connector in the bottom, or like the smaller version, slimmer version of it, which can be attached in the middle of these hollow studs, which are also just one plate high. And we will put these through here first to create this little sort of orange warning light. And then we are putting it onto the jumper plate on top of our build. And already we have the warning lights on the first side of it. And now let's continue on with first putting on the exhaust pipe apparently, which will be hooked into this Technic connector, or like, I guess it's a lift arm as you call them. There is a hole left out, and there the little pin is actually going, which connects the exhaust pipe to the main build. That's looking like this now. Alright, now we are building the first of the two arms, which will connect the shovel to our tractor, consisting of some Technic elements which we are putting together. You can see the different parts that are included. I prefer this little gray Technic pin a lot. I think it's cool that they put it in this color and not in, for example, blue, because they love putting in the color blue. As you will see, there is some Technic connectors in this color as well, but I hope you can just not see it that well when we finish the build. This is how we are looking at the moment. So we are going to attach this to the last side of the, or like to the last open Technic hole left open in the lift arm. Up in the front, as you can see, there is still a connection open, and this is where this is just getting placed in. Let's see to actually put this in here first. All right. So this is how it's looking like. That's why you can just actuate the shovel later on. It's just sticking in two Technic holes. Alright, so now we are just continuing with the other side of the build, or like the other side of the shovel arm, which is also done completely the same. It's just mirrored onto the other side. Basically the only thing different is the way that this gray connector pin is mounted. And now we are adding this to the other side, where we still have an open connect Technic pinhole, and now we have both sides attached. Alright, so the next thing we are building is this little side step consisting of 1x6 plate in gray, two of these Technic studs or like pieces with a Technic hole on the outside and a 2x1 plate on the bottom. Then we have an attachment here up front for like these toothed pieces that can hook into them. And on the top side, there is a 1x4 tile in gray and light bluish gray. All of these things are being mounted upon the two blue Technic holes being left upon. So the blue actually will shimmer out a little bit again, which is could have been handled a little bit differently, I guess. But let's see how the actual build will look like in the end. Alright, so onto this element up here. As mentioned, there is this hook piece. Our shovel will connect. Our shovel has the counter side of these hooks, which are hooking into it just by pressing it onto it in the right angle. Whoops. Angling it a little to the side with the first side of it always helps a little too. And then, yeah, the blue Technic struts are looking out very visibly, especially like this. You can always tell. So up here, if this would have been black, it would fit way better. But yeah, Lego does not want to include things like this. So in the back of it, there's these sort of tires being used. I think these are from the Racer series, which is a little bit of an older one, where I've already seen these on like the 4x4 vehicles, like the more off-roading style vehicles, I suppose. We are just placing these. Let me just see which ones we need. So there's some with a deeper dish, and these ones attached to the bigger tractor wheels in the back. And then on the front, there are different slimmer wheels, or yeah, wheels and wheel caps are not even included in this here, so I cannot confuse it with them. Alright, so this is how we are looking like for the back tires. That's the rather broad approach to this. This has a lot of width to it. And we are attaching it with the side, which has this sort of little mounting holes to it, or like the rivets, I guess. They are like hinted at rivets on the inside of the dish, but I think yeah, it's way too bright on the camera to actually see, so you can just see the overall look that it creates. And then we're still missing the front tires. All right. So also with these, it's the same. The hinted rivets are supposed to stick out and create the final step of this. Alright. So we will just put the shovel up to the bottom side. We can add the driver to the build. And then we are already finished for today. Let's see how well this actually can attach to. Ah, it's fitting okay. And it can also be closed off, even with the hairpiece attached. Always a nice thing to see that they actually paid attention to that. Alrighty. And then what we are left with is this little tractor piece. This little tractor build, which sadly, for example, here has still open Technic pins visible to the side. And also, for example, if tilted down, you can also see the blue sides up here. So another thing to see is up here, you could theoretically probably attach something like a trailer or something similar to that, or a board press. All these things are not on the market from what I know at the moment, so I could just guess what they could bring out. um, Other than that, the mechanism itself is just really these Technic connectors on the backside, but it is rather sturdy because it's two Technic holes for each of the connector pieces, which makes it not move that easily. Let's just see if it can actually hold up the weight, for example, of the hay stacks that are included. So as you can see, it's not getting dragged down by it. Let's add maybe a little bit more weight to it with these box. Let's see if I can actually manage to. Yeah. And also now, at least at the moment, it's not getting dragged down. I'm not exactly sure how long that's gonna be the case. If you use this as an actual playset for your children, it probably will not hold up that well because these Technic connectors have a little bit of a gift to them. When you turn them often enough, they just usually rotate inside of the fitting. So it's not, yeah, it's not the best way to do this, but at least it's going very easily. All right. So also what I want to mention is I thought first that I just had forgotten, but yeah, no. They actually only add this little warning light on one side. I guess it's rather typical for tractors who only have that on one side. I don't know. I've seen this a lot of times with you as well. And I'm living in a rather rural area. So I think I'm just going to add the second one. Um, I like the look of it better, but nah, I just think it looks unfinished without the with the jumper plate being open here. They could have at least tiled it off at that point, I think. But yeah, it's Lego, so you can just add to it. A nice part about it. So now that we have finished our build, it's already time today for a little review slash discussion about the set that we have built together. Um, so for this, I also already prepared a little something, which is the product sheet on lego.com. As you can see, this set at the moment goes for around $20 if you purchase it from lego.com, or if you could purchase it from lego.com because it's temporarily out of stock. Like most sets that may be worth it. It's consisting, like mentioned in the beginning, of 148 pieces. It's for the age demographic of 5 plus, and it has the item number 60287, just to mention these facts once again. And as always, for the price discussion, well, as you see, now we are already hitting the point where it's $20, but you only get 100 and not even 50 pieces with it. So, yeah, I don't even have to mention that purchasing this set for the suggested retail price is not something I would do. But I think that should be clear at this point. If you watch this stream regularly, you should know. I think that purchasing sets off of Lego.com, which are not completely exclusive to Lego's own website, are never good purchases because this set is in basically any broader retail store. It's sold out sometimes, but that does not mean that they are not going to reproduce the hell out of this, because it is first of all one of the most favorited sets that have come out in this line for quite some time from what I've seen, because many people actually wanted a little minifigure sized tractor for their Lego city or for their farm space or something like that. There's quite a lot of different applications you could use this for. For example, even for like street um or shoveling little amounts of snow on the street, it could probably look cute with these. So as long as you're not too close to it, it's really giving off the right vibes. The only problem I see with it too is when you look too close into it, because that's when you realize that there's a few flaws that might not strike the eye of an adult viewer um, in the most positive light. Because, for example, we have open Technic holes down here, so the Technic connector down here does not get used, and it's also not getting filled up by anything. There would be possibilities which you could implement in it, which may look good, which may not, do not would not look good. That depends on what you would actually choose. Also, as already mentioned up here, there's just a stud being open from this weird rounded tile. Well, also not the best look, but at least it gives off this little racing stripe sort of vibe with the white on the bottom and then the black up top. I think if they would have done all of this in black, it would have maybe looked a little better, but well, that's my opinion. I'm just like I'm mentioning, I'm just giving you a few of my opinions on the end of these builds, like always. Um, Also, I kind of would have appreciated it if they would have put the exhaust pipe on both sides, as is also sometimes typical. It depends on the tractor model, to be honest, but well, we are not going for any particular styled model here because they have not paid any license for it. So they could have might as well just included that, but that would have also been another piece more money that they would have had to spend. I'm talking about cents for them at this point, but yeah, still. Um, which is a nice factor is that these tires, in combination with these wheels, are usually sold off quite easily on Bricklink, as well as the front ones and the shovel piece and the trans clear pieces here. Both the angled ones as well as especially the straight ones used for the windscreen. Also these angled pieces, as well as this rooftop piece, and maybe some of the connector pieces like the mounting points for the axles might as well go not as bad on Bricklink. I do not know. I have not checked the exact pricing for most of these parts, but I know that usually the tires go for at least a little bit of money, as well as the minifigures, two of which are included as well. Let's just put them on here as well, and also a little animal minifigure. So theoretically, yes, it would get free minifigures, even though I never count stuff like this as actual minifigures. This is an accessory piece for me. But you can see it as you will, as you want to. It does not make your opinion invalid if you think this is a third minifigure as well. I think it's just when Lego calls it a third minifigure, it's just a little bit cheap because it has not the same sort of production value as regular ones do. Um, but at least the rabbit is really cute. I appreciate that they printed the front side of it, so the face at least has some sort of addition to it, like with the little eyes and the little bunny nose. I think you can see it quite well on the camera as well. Yeah, I just think that's a very cute little accessory piece to give out. Um, I think the building experience itself is quite fun, or was quite fun. There was quite some fun to be had in it with the little layering of some of it, like the plating of which can also be considered quite okay. It is quite diverse in terms of what is actually being built, but also like especially the bottom side is also mirrored. Also the top side is mirrored, so you will always have stuff included which has to be built twice just to make sure that I'm not, I don't know, praising it too much, because it is an okay experience. It's not the best, also not the best of any of the city sets, because like for example one of the previous streams, we have built a little ice cream wagon, or the ice cream truck, I think is the official title of it, which was a lot more diverse in terms of what you actually were building with some of it. And I think also some of the parts were better too. It had like close to 200 parts, and also it was also including two minifigures. So I don't think the value in this is as well. So I already mentioned the value of the ice cream truck was not the best in my opinion. So this would be like what, a €10 set or like $10 set for me, more than anything else. I'm not sure if I would really recommend it if you're not particularly looking for this. Like if you're particularly looking for a tractor to be put into your city, and you're already maybe like an older age demographic too, and you just want it for looks, and you know you don't go in too close in to it, then yeah, why not? It's a nice addition. There's not really many tractors on Lego. In Lego's program, like in the last couple of years, I don't even know if there was any besides this in like a proper minifigure scale. Also mentioning like how terrible this site looks should be something I do as well. Like all of the inside build up with the blue, it's just completely visible here, and it does not look good at all. Like I think if they would have used black, for example, or gray, it would look way better than this. Like this is honestly kind of annoying to me now that I look at it from the camera's perspective. I hope you can see it quite well. It's just not the best look given off. I think if this would have been a more neutrally toned down color, it would just look better. So that's also something I want to mention. If you're placing this in your Lego city, like I plan to do, I think you should look for ways to display it a little more in the background to it, like maybe in a working position where the shovel is put somewhere that you cannot see the Technic pins, or you just replace them and you replace these other parts here. But well, at this point, I feel like you can just as well build a mock of a tractor. So just handle it as you want. I don't think it gives you the best display value to it. As an actual playset, I think it's totally okay. As something nice to gift to your grandchild, for example, or something like that, or maybe if your friend just has a small child in this age demographic, it's always an appreciable build, probably. Um, it it really depends on the person that you want to gift it to, I suppose too, because I mean they give you a lot of play value with the accessories that they put here as well, or that they have put into the box as well, which can be mentioned as a very positive thing. But also I'm questioning a little, like if there could have been more detailing or different detailing if these accessories would not have been added to it. I don't know. It kind of feels like they just wanted to reach at least a certain number of parts, or just like make it look a little bit more voluminous. Like adding more volume to it, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Sorry, I think that was the wrong word. Um, so overall, not the biggest suggestion for this set in my book. But as mentioned, it's very rare for Lego to actually bring out farm stuff, and especially tractors. So if you're looking for that for some time, then it's not a bad purchase. If you take it with you for like, I don't know, $12 to $14, I think it should probably be okay. Which should be totally achievable due to the fact that this set hits Target and Walmart and all the other major retail stores. So it is not a set that you ever have to purchase off from Lego directly, especially not for €20. That's definitely not worth it at all. Um, I think it was some fun to be had though with the build, and I picked it out for today's stream, especially because I wanted the stream to be a little bit of a shorter edition to it. So usually I'm doing like 2 to 3 hours of streams, but today I have quite a busy schedule, so I had only like an hour to actually do the stream. So I appreciate a lot that Lego offers this sort of smaller builds, which are still fun to have. There's a lot of fun to be had in this still, and I think it's also very fitting for smaller for yeah for smaller age demographics, like lower age demographics, I guess, is how you would say it. Like mentioned, I think 5+ already hits it a little bit too high. I think you can even give this to your 3 to 4 year old, and it's still totally able to build it. Like just watch out with some of the smaller pieces, maybe up here or maybe the lights up top. But other than the lights, I don't think there's that many problems with it. Everything that can be swallowed can also be swallowed if it's like this sort of size. So yeah, I don't think that it needs to be 5+. To be honest, it could be set down a little. I think this would even be a 3+ set. They just didn't want to do this other type of instruction manual probably for it. So they just went on with the 5+ demographic. And also, yeah, maybe the little 1x1 tiles can be a little bit of a problem at that point. Still, I'm not sure. I think um, when I was 3 or 4 years old, I already played with Lego systems. So I had builds that were when I looked it up a couple of years ago, I realized these builds were including a lot more small parts than are now even included with some of the 5+ sets. So I think it's a little bit of a joke that they they put it into this demographic. But I just want to be sure legally. I think that's the most important part. Um, but it's like I mentioned, there is fun to be had with this build. If you can snag it cheap enough, and you actually are interested in the farm topic and maybe actually want to display it somewhere, it it could be a good addition to your collection, even if you're already in the adult category of Lego collectors. I think it's still not something to pass if you're into this sort of themes. Other than that, I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching, especially also the live viewers. I very much want to thank you for being part of the stream today. I hope there was some fun to be had with me, and also I hope that it was at least interesting enough, even though it was more of a smaller sized build and not the most frequently asked for topic. I just kind of felt like building a little bit of the city line today. Anyway, I'm always very glad for anyone tuning in. Also, I'm very happy for any sort of critique and suggestion to my videos and streams because I want to improve as much as I can. I usually stream 5 to 7 times a week. Mostly I do Lego builds, and I would be more than happy if I was entertaining enough for you today to maybe leave a follow or a subscription. Other than that, thank you so much for being part of it, and I hope all of you have a great morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on the time of day that you are actually watching this. Thank you so much, and I talk to you very soon. Goodbye. Till then.